Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sequoia. Thank you for joining me here today. I am coming here from TikTok because TikTok is racist, but I have many things to say and I deserve to say those things. So I'm gonna say it on this here platform. You can catch me on TikTok for a little bit longer just so I can drive traffic here, but they keep playing with me, so I'm gonna be here. But today I did want to talk about something that is happening over on that godforsaken platform, TikTok. Have y'all seen this trend of white women crying, like full crying with tears running down their face and then suddenly stopping and smiling? That's happening on TikTok right now. It's like very much in the public discourse. There's a lot of chatter around that particular trend. And I just think it's interesting. I don't think it's giving what white women intended for it to be giving. I think they think it's like some actor like where they're showing their range, but it's not giving that. Very much not giving that. It's a lot more sinister than that. This TikTok does a really good job of explaining it.
Hey, look, they took my last video down for hate speech, so I'm not gonna say anything. All I'm gonna say is, under that sound, there's a bunch of videos of white women who are crying. And then when the beat drops, they stop crying, right? And the challenge is to show how convincing that performance was. I'm not gonna say anything. All I'm gonna say is, right? I'm not gonna say anything. Right. Right.
But in case you need an explainer about what means, I got you. So in the white supremacist patriarchy that we live in right now, white women are seen as this fragile, infantilized creatures that need protecting. Damsels, if you will. So in real life scenarios, when white women start crying, it results in a lot of like chest puffing and bucking up from, I want to say white men, but I know y'all seen this meme on Twitter. So I'm gonna just say men. So when there is a non-white person on the other side of those tears and that person is perceived as the cause of those tears, you see that can be a little dangerous for said non-white person on the other side of those tears. Right. And some white women will go ahead and weaponize that, knowing the dangers, and put people of color at risk. We've seen this documented over and over again historically. We've seen it with Emmett Till, we've seen it with Amy Cooper. Y'all are already black people. I'm sure black people about to watch this. Y'all don't need an explainer about either of those circumstances. I'm sure y'all know about this phenomenon of the risk involved with being around a crying white woman. Oh my God, there's a cat in the window next to me. And it just scared the shit out of me. It's watching me do this YouTube video. I have my first fan. Thank you, girl. Anyways, y'all don't need an explainer about this phenomenon as a whole. Y'all know that this shit exists. Y'all know the risks of being on the other side of a white woman's crocodile tears. Now, what I will say, I feel like of the internet discourse that I've seen happening around this subject, I feel like there's something missing. I wanted to call attention to the fact that this is not something that's exclusive to white women. It's really not. Non-black women of color, for real, do this shit too. Depending on who's on the other side of their fury, non-black women of color will also weaponize their relative fragility, their relative assumed fragility. And I say relative because this doesn't work for everybody. A non-black woman of color's tears will not have the same impact on Rebecca from down the street as it will on a black woman or a black man. That relative assumed fragility is what gives them that similar riskiness in certain circumstances. Pretty much this only works against people over whom non-black women of color have more assumed fragility than, and that's always black people, all black people, period. So while non-black women of color can perpetrate this exact same phenomenon on black people as a whole, I feel like it happens most common, and this is all anecdotal right here, y'all, okay? I'm not about to come with empirical evidence. I'm speaking from a place of experience as a black woman who works in predominantly non-black environments. Not currently. Currently, I work in a predominantly black environment, but historically has worked in predominantly non-black environments. I have a lot of personal experience with this here topic. And so this is gonna be coming from my personal experience. I think non-Black women perpetuate the same type of violence against Black women specifically. And I think the reason they're able to do that is because in the kind of cis heteronormative world that we exist in, all of us, there is a hierarchy of femininity amongst cis het women in which Black women are at the bottom. So relative to Black women, all other cis het women have more assumed femininity, which translates into assumed fragility as well. So the societal placement of Black women at the bottom of this feminine hierarchy leads to a lot of defeminization of Black women, a lot of dehumanization of Black women, both of which lead to Black women being the assumed aggressor whenever there is a dispute, regardless of the actual circumstances of said dispute. I haven't seen this hierarchy talked about anywhere. I'm not saying that it has not been talked about anywhere. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. But I think that it's something that we are all kind of inherently aware of, just subconsciously, some of us consciously, but I think non-Black women a lot of times take advantage of this relative assumed fragility and put Black women at risk. Some of them. I want to make it clear that I'm talking about some women of color, some white women. I don't want to be out here being like all white women are this way or whatever. Some. Okay, does that make you happy? Okay. So yeah, non-Black women of color also weaponize their relative assumed fragility against Black people, and more often against Black women specifically. And we could see that in Miss Gina Rodriguez crying on Sway in the Morning, pretty much being like, oh, the big Black bullies are mad that I'm racist and that I hate them, and so now they're bullying me. That's pretty much what she's doing. She's like exploiting that trope that Black women are big, Black, mean, and scary, and like playing victim. That happens. Oh, and an example that is not involving a Black woman, just involves Black people, period. Do y'all remember, what's her name? I have it written down. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Maya Ponsetto, I'm assuming that's her name. She was that girl in somewhere in New York that accused that 14-year-old Black boy of stealing her phone in a hotel lobby or something, and she harassed him and literally tackled him to the ground. And then later on in an interview with Gayle King, she referred to herself, her 22-year-old big grown adult self, as a girl who was just trying to get her phone from a guy. You are a whole ass adult. You are 22 years old trying to get your phone from a 14-year-old literal child. You see how she's weaponizing that assumed fragility that she possesses as someone higher in that hierarchy than the Black boy is? See how she's doing that? That's not a white woman. I don't even know what color she was, but she was not white. She didn't look white to me. And then on a personal note, my big 5'2" ass has been fully asked to leave a location that I was at. I don't want to be too specific because I don't want to cause problems or whatever, but I was asked to leave a location I was at because I looked at a non-Black woman and she was uncomfortable with my presence and she began crying, and then I was asked to leave that location because I'm so big and so scary, my big 5'2" ass. Anyways, I say all this to say that TikTok trend that's going on where white women are showing their ass on the internet right now by doing that whole fake cry that has gotten Black people in trouble for years. White women do that for real. They perpetrate that shit all the time. It's disgusting. Non-Black women of color do it too. Non-Black women of color do it too. To the detriment of Black people, period. I'm kind of tired of like non-Black women of color getting the benefit of the doubt when a lot of times, a lot of the harm that I have received as a Black woman has come at the hands of non-Black women of color, who have treated me like this big, angry, scary bully, who have exploited that hierarchy of femininity in which Black women are placed at the bottom, masculinized and dehumanized. And also, I want to make it clear that there's nothing wrong with being a masculine woman. I kind of identify with being more masculine. Obviously, I'm femme presenting and all those things, but I am not I'm not the most feminine woman. I regularly refer to myself as like a more masculine woman, which is fine. That masculinization though leads to dehumanization of Black women, which leads to circumstances that put us at risk when we are seen as the aggressor because we are stripped of our femininity. Thank you for joining me in this here video. I think this part we're supposed to tell people to like it, give it a thumbs up, something like that. I know y'all be doing that. So if y'all wanna give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. If you have thoughts, hit the comment section because I'll be here.